Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 14 of the Electrifying Podcast, brought to you by Energica, the single manufacturer of the FIM NL Moto E World Cup, and presented by me, EVJ Val. We're currently in between the opening two Moto E races of the season, with the second event in Jerez to get underway tomorrow morning. The first one was a great show and was dominated by Eric Granado, but there was one rider who surprised everyone with an incredible progression in a very short time. After qualifying in second place on Saturday, he rode a superb debut race that ended with a well-deserved fourth place. We welcome to the show one half of Team Tech 3E Racing and the youngest rider on the Moto E grid. His name, Lukas Tulovic. Hello there.
Hey, ciao Valerio. Hey, nice to be
How
here.
are you? How's it going?
Yeah, quite good. After the first race now in Jerez, I'm quite happy and it's nice to be here. But yeah, of course, the restrictions and everything is so strange to race like this. But it's for everybody the same, so we have
Yeah.
to deal with it and
So
strange
now
situation.
you are between a race and the other. In these days, were you able to train? Were you able to do anything, or did you have to stay in the hotel?
Yeah, we can do something. Normally, of course, we have to be like in the bubble between the racetrack and our hotel. But we are here with all the riders from the Tech 3 team, with the MotoGP guys, Moto3, and also Tommaso, my teammate from Moto E. And we have a really beautiful hotel with the pool and everything, and plays a little bit around. So on the field we can go for running because there's nobody, and so it's okay. We can train. We have place. We have space around, so it's nice. It's like a little bit of 2-3 days of holiday.
That's good. It's a good reward after your performance during the weekend. You were the rising star of the weekend. I mean, it was your
Yeah.
debut, and you nailed it, if I may
Nailed
say.
it. No, I was also really surprised about how it went. Because in the test in March, I honestly struggled a bit to get to know the bike and get going and get some speed. Also on the Wednesday test, we made small steps, but I was never in the situation to really feel so good on the bike, feel comfortable, feel the front and everything. But then in the FP1, we made a step on the setup, and this gave me a really booster, and I could follow other riders, and this gave me really good comfort to improve and to go faster. And then it was like every session by session. In FP1 I was, I think, 14, FP2 10, FP3 I was 7th position, and then in the super e-pole it was 2nd position. So really step, and it was so impressive. I was really impressed by myself, to be honest.
Yeah, in some ways, the EPO reminds me of the World Skiing Championship, the Alpine Ski Championship, because
Yeah,
there's one rider, like one skier at a time,
yeah,
and it was really interesting to see, you kind of setting the lap time and seeing everyone else struggling to match it. It was also good to see your reaction live and seeing
yeah.
and seeing you like, okay, it's getting serious, I can be in on
Yeah,
the front row.
yeah. Yeah, this was exactly the situation. After me, there have been, I think, 6 riders still left to make the qualifying. And I thought, oh, maybe when I'm lucky, I'm on the second row or something like this, because the lap was not so bad, honestly.
Yeah.
And then I saw one rider after run rider by rider, they didn't make the lap time, and was like, oh, okay, but was not so bad the lap. And then there was only Egeta and Granado left over, and I was like, oh, okay, this is the front row, first race. I was already uh, like so happy. And then was the big crash of Canepa. Was
Wow,
so
yeah.
it
It was
was
big.
huge. It was big, yeah.
Yeah.
Egeta was a little bit unlucky because he was on a good lap and destroyed a little bit the tire
Yeah.
already. But yeah, this can happen and it's racing, and from second or third on the grid is not so big difference. But yeah, it
Yeah.
was really nice. Yeah.
Did you look for anyone else on the track, like any rider who had 1 year experience to actually see how to ride the bike? Because obviously you didn't have much track time, because we know that the bike can do only a number of laps, and obviously you are your first experience in moto. Is there anyone you looked at in terms of riding, or did you learn on your own?
Um, yeah, for sure, because it's really difficult in Moto E because you really have to be on the point because we have the three free practice sessions, but you cannot do so many laps. So when you go out, the first flying lap must be directly on the point. So you don't have time like in Moto 2 to cruise around and get your speed step by step. So it's really difficult. And for this, I was also looking for some faster riders. Of course, I was to get faster to the goal, you know. And in the FP1, I don't know who I was behind, but in the FP3, where I also make a good step, I was following Canepa and Simeon, the two guys from LCR. And also this gave me a little bit boost, so I see what they do, what I can change, where I need to improve. And like this, you can learn a lot faster. Everybody is doing the same. Also, maybe last year in Malaysia, Marquez was even behind Quartararo to improve
Yes,
his lap time.
yes.
Everybody's doing the same, so you would be stupid if you don't do it and try everything on your own and struggle more. So, of course, I'm finding for good riders. Yeah.
Did you start the season with something like a setup from the previous rider, like Hector Garzo, or did you start with from scratch with the settings? Because Garzo was quick, so
Garzo was really fast on this bike. Yeah, Hector. He was also in 2018. He was my teammate in the European Moto 2 Championship.
yeah,
Um, but in the test in March, we already tried something direction to his setup, but the riding style was really different. And the way he was riding the bike, I'm not able to ride this bike. So we tried it, but we can forget about this setting because for me it's not working.
yeah.
He's riding a little bit different. Um, but now we find a good way in these free practice sessions for the setup and make a good improvement for this working for me. But it's more like setup direction of Kenny Foray, who was also last year in the Tech 3
Yeah,
e-racing,
yeah.
and opposite way to Hector, you can say,
Okay,
on the setup.
cool. Good to know. And I mean, a lot of people that's been talking about the heat in Jerez. Obviously, who wasn't there, including me. We heard about how hard it was. Describe us how hard it was to be on track and
How
to
hot
be
it was.
around.
Yeah, if you see all the pictures of the MotoGP riders in the pool and everything, what the Dorna don't see so good. But it was really hot. It's like when we go in the European Championship to Aragon in August, September, I don't know. It's also always super hot, so dry. It's like similar. And I think yesterday we had here in Jerez, I think 39 degrees. It's wow, it's so crazy.
Yeah.
Um, Always when you put the water bottle inside the box without putting it inside the fridge, after 2 3 hours when I come back after the session and I drink it, it's
Yeah.
like I don't know, the tea you left on the table for half an
Yeah.
hour. It's so
Yeah,
warm and
yeah. You
you
can have some
cannot.
tea, exactly. You can have some tea.
It's not
Absolutely. And
nice to drink. Yeah. But
yeah,
for
no,
us, it's not so big problem because we don't need to do so many laps. But for the GP riders, and they have to fight a lot. Yeah.
yeah. And speaking of short race, you obviously when you obviously see races last year, you
Yeah.
obviously saw them, but you didn't know what to expect coming in. So what was your approach? What did you do? You just, I mean, your start was great. I mean,
Yeah.
you actually did a great start, despite you
Yeah.
can't really make a difference when you don't have the clutch in terms
Yeah.
of starting, but you did really have a good start. But what was your approach from then? You kind of try to keep it together and avoid any risk, or I don't know. What was your approach?
Yeah, for me, one of the most important things is to take as many points as possible because we don't have so many races. So
Yeah,
it's really, really important to take points. But also really important, what I think many riders learn now from the first race, the e-pole is so important because the race is so short to start really maybe first, second, maximum third row to be in a good position for the race. Because when you are further back down, like Canepa was after his crash, it's impossible to go to the front. But
yeah,
what was for me so strange was when Granado or Ferrari overtake me, they are suddenly next to you, but you don't listen to it. I'm
yeah,
riding anyway without the earplugs, but in Moto2, for example, you hear it a little bit when somebody's closer behind you or now coming next to you. A little bit you get the feeling to hear it. But in Moto8, this is really, really difficult to see it and to feel it and also to overtake with the weight of the bike. This makes it
yeah.
really, really tough for this short distance races.
Yeah,
But
let's put the rear view mirrors on the bikes then.
yeah, that would be interesting.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mirrors.
Uh, well, I was thinking about something. I would maybe a good thing for the future would be for the e-pole especially to it happens also it happened also in Superbike. I mean, if you crash uh during the e-pole, you don't go all the way to 18th if you had a good time in sort of uh,
Hmm.
FP3, and then in the combined times maybe you go, I don't know,
Yeah, understand,
10th,
understand.
because starting,
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
but that's, I guess that's the beauty of the single lap. You have to push
ex
the limits at the same time. You
exactly,
don't have to crash. That's the
exactly.
thing.
And don't
So
go over the track limits. I think that's exactly what makes it so interesting because when you watch run rider each rider after each other and you see okay he must stay on the track, he must go fast, and if he's going one time 10 centimeters too much over the curb on the green, it's over. So we have to be really, really precise.
yeah,
And I think for me, that's what it makes so interesting because one small mistake and everything can be done. So for
yeah.
the
I
for the people watching and everybody in the paddock, it's so interesting. But on the bike, you are really like, oh,
I
really
know.
in the focus.
Are you that type of rider? Are you the single lap rider? Because, for example, Jordi Torres is known for not being a qualifier despite being great in the race. And there are riders who actually on the single lap just struggle, and then in the race they can build up the pace. And there are riders obviously who can do both, but you know.
Normally, I am better in the races.
Okay.
Especially end of the race with my fitness level and the when the tire's dropping a little bit with less grip, that's normally where I'm a little bit stronger. But in Moto E with the short race and the tire is dropping a little bit, but not too much, makes not so big difference. But I honestly I didn't expect to make such a good qualifying this time, so it was for me really, really special.
Yeah, maybe you found something in you that you didn't find before. You don't know.
Maybe, yeah. Maybe, yeah.
Um, so the calendar this year is obviously different because of the COVID-19 situation, but
Yeah.
maybe it could work in your favor given that there will only be three venues instead of five. I mean, probably you know them all, but you haven't tried them with the bike. So having two
Yeah.
double headers with, even three races in Misano, that maybe
Three
could work
Misano, yeah.
well for you.
Could work for me, but also could work for Italian riders like Ferrari that have been so strong on these tracks last year. Or maybe, for example, also my teammate in Italian rider.
Yeah.
Um, three races there. Let's see. Last year in the Moto2, the track was not so bad for me. On the Moto E, I don't know. But we also have the race in Le Mans. So this track I know also from the World Championship and has been good for me. So for this one, I'm quite positive. And Misano, we will see. We have
And
2
then
races there in 2 weeks. So
in Le Mans, nobody has raced before, so
yeah,
it will be a new start for everyone. So it would be
exactly.
really interesting to see. Would be really
Yeah.
interesting to see. What about your early career? You started so young. Like I wasn't reading. You made your debut in the CEV Model 2. How old were you?
With 15.
Wow. Okay. Okay. Okay.
With 15. In 2015, I've done my first 2 races in Jerez and Valencia. And the season after, I was 16, 17, 18 in the CV and 15 the last 2 races. And now this year back from the World Championship. So it's my fourth year in the CV.
Did you live in Spain when you were using a CV or just going back and
No,
forth?
no. This time when I've been there in 2018, I was still in school, and I finished the highest level school in Germany. To
Which
have
is
like
always
a
a good thing.
yeah, for sure, for plan B, C if it doesn't work with the career.
Yes.
Always, yeah, it's always important. Many riders don't have it and they just focus on racing. It
Yeah,
can work, but if it's not working, they have nothing in their pocket. So it's
that's true.
in my opinion, it's not so clever, but it's their decision.
Did you have a good is it called Abitur? Is it?
Exactly,
Oh yeah.
exactly.
I know. I'm just acting just because my sister lives in Germany and my nephews are German, so
Ah,
that's why.
cool, cool. Where in Germany?
Münster in
Münster. Okay,
yeah, in the
okay.
northwest.
Yeah,
So
it's far from my home. I'm living
yeah,
near
there
Hockenheimring,
is nothing to
Nürburgring.
see. Sorry for all the listeners if there's anyone from Münster. she she used to live in Berlin, and I had a lot more fun there.
Yeah,
So
I can believe. I was a few weeks ago. I was in Berlin at my with visiting my fitness trainer. Was interesting. Yeah,
yeah, it's a great city. It's definitely
yeah,
in my top five. Definitely in my top five.
yeah, yeah.
So
That's so nice.
Lucas, it's been a pleasure to talk to you, and I've been looking forward for a long time, but I found that there was no better moment than now, and I
Yeah, of
hope
course.
I look forward to seeing you on track again, and hopefully the heat will be lower, but I don't think it will be. So we'll just have to
So
wait and see what
may
happens.
may the heat be with us.
May the what?
May the heat be with us.
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
If
With
it's
with
not
you,
gone.
maybe not too much.
Yeah, we have the race at 10 in the morning, so at our session it's not so bad. Only the FP2 and the E-pole will be hot in the afternoon,
Yeah,
but it's not
yeah.
so bad. I
I
don't
guess
mind.
it's important to do the morning sessions well, just to
Exactly,
prepare for the
exactly,
race.
exactly. The FP1 and FP3, the most important sessions, and these are also the sessions where we focus the most, also with the tires
Yeah,
to be prepared for the E-pole and the race,
absolutely,
especially the race. Exactly.
absolutely. So now you're all happy with the Energica bike, right?
Yeah,
You can
yeah.
play it.
It's so different. You cannot compare to any Moto 2 or nothing. It's a whole different story. But as a professional rider, you have to be able to adapt to every bike, and that's what I'm trying at the moment. And for now, it's working quite good. So
Yeah, no,
it's
absolutely.
it's fine. It's
And
fine.
you guys put it in a great show. I mean, people who
Thank
say,
you.
"Oh, the electric bike, I don't really like it." I mean, man, watch it.
What?
Watch
Yeah.
it. Like you see a great race,
Oh
and
yeah. Yeah.
it's a short race, which is even fun to watch.
Yeah.
So I don't, for
Exactly.
in my personal opinion, I don't understand. But each to their own. But the advice I give is that watch the race because it's fun.
Yeah, everybody got their own opinion, but last year when I was in the Moto 2, I was always watching the race and I was like in front of the television with my fingers on the mouth, like
Yeah.
was always overtaking everybody together and so short race and so much action inside. It's so nice. to
Yeah.
watch it for me.
Yeah.
And to
It's a
be
good
a part
way.
of it, even better.
Yeah, it's a good way to start the Sunday of races. So
Exactly.
you start with
Exactly.
a short and fun Moto E, and then you build up to the rest of the categories.
Exactly.
All right. So I
Very
said
good.
already that I will let you go, and now I'll let you go for real to your own stuff. Are you gonna train now?
Yeah, at 6 we will go running for a few kilometers with Sasaki from Moto3 and Lecona. We'll do
Okay.
some training together and then we go for dinner.
Cool. Cool. Enjoy the rest of your day,
Thank
and
you.
looking forward to seeing you on track when we will be allowed again. Us poor media PR people who have been left alone. No, I kid.
Yeah, I hope it will be soon.
Yeah, fingers crossed. Take care.
Yeah.
And
You
I'll see you soon.
too. See
Bye.
ya. Bye.
Bye. And that's it for another episode of the Electrifying Podcast. Hope you're looking forward to seeing the Ego Corsa machines back on track as much as we do, and be on the edge of your sofa to cheer for your favorite riders. This podcast is now available on Spotify, Google Podcast, and Stitcher, so if you use these services, you have plenty of ways to stay in touch with us. See you next time!